Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Hey there, this is Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com, and this is about the finest example you'll ever see of a 1968 Chevelle. This was at the height of the muscle car era, 1968, and all the music was amazing then too. You had the Beatles, you had Cream, Simon & Garfunkel, Smokey Robinson on the charts. And the Beatles released Hey Jude that year, among other things, so that was the greatest music ever made. But the problem was, back in 1968, all you had was a little tiny speaker on your dashboard to listen to this through. And it was on AM radio, so it was all treble and no bass. So you could hear the rumble of the engine, but if you want to hear your tunes, your car was not the place to do it. But now, thanks to Custom Auto Sound, you can drive your classic car or street rod, and you don't have to compromise on the stereo sound. Custom Auto Sound's radios and speakers sound amazing, and they look just like the original radios that came with your car when it was new. But just as everything else has changed since 1968, so has the technology in our cars. Now there's Bluetooth, MP3 players, CD players, and satellite radio, stuff we didn't even think of just a few years ago. And with a custom auto sound system, you can have all of that in your classic car or your street rod. And you're not just getting a unit that looks good, you're also getting equipment that's built to last. Custom Auto Sound's radios and speakers are made in the same factories that make some of the world's finest audio equipment, and every Custom Auto Sound model undergoes extreme temperature testing, a temperature aging test, and a vibration test, which is really important in a muscle car. And every single item that Custom Auto Sound makes is hand inspected and adjusted by a technician before it gets shipped to a customer or a dealer. And here's the checklist they go through, all the items they check before every single unit gets out of the factory. Custom Auto Sound has a huge variety of radios and speakers made to fit your budget and made to fit your specific vehicle. They have 4 different models of in-dash radios, including the slide bar radio, and this is really cool. The slide bar radio, with that you get a radio that looks just like an old analog radio when it's turned off, and no one's any the wiser, but when you get in and you slide the bar, you get a digital display that lets you control every function of your radio. And if you have a street rod or a classic and you want to leave the original radio in the dash, the secret audio radio is for you. Now this unit hides usually under the seat or behind the dashboard, and you can still get your Bluetooth, AM/FM radio, iPod control, CD control, and it integrates perfectly with your speaker system in your vehicle. And again, no one will ever see the radio. They'll think it's all original inside that car. And when it comes to speakers, well, Custom Auto Sound does that too, and they do it well. Custom Auto Sound has you covered from ear to ear, from subwoofers to kick panel and door-mounted speakers to universal speakers, even speakers that secretly hide away, just like those radios that hide away, so you can keep your car's original looks. Everything from Custom Auto Sound is made to sound great, it's made to last, and of course, it's made to look just like it came with your classic vehicle back when it was new. And you can put the system in by yourself, which I love because Custom Auto Sound makes installation incredibly easy. First, you got to disconnect the battery and then you can go to work. And the thing I love about Custom Auto Sound, they make it easy for guys like me who aren't wiring pros. Everything is color-coded on the harness. You've got your power, of course, your power antenna hookup if you have one of those, hookup for your MP3 player, your subwoofer, your ground, and of course an output for your amplifier. RCA pre-outs if you have amplifiers that take that. And there's a microphone for Bluetooth if you have Bluetooth. Even a USB port for all of your tunes if you maybe put it on a thumb drive or you have a connection that works through your USB port. Now once you get everything connected, the harnesses click together and they mate with the old harnesses on your vehicle as well. Then you sneak it up behind the dash. In this case, we had to go through the glove compartment and we're able to get up behind the dash. And you had to do a little bit of yoga to get in there, but we were able to get the unit up in there. And once you stick the posts in for the controls, then you put a couple washers down there, a couple of nuts, and then the knobs go over the top. And those knobs look just like the originals did back in 1968. Once you get your Custom Auto Sound radio in, folks are not going to know the difference. They're going to think you've got an authentic radio from the period in which your car was made. Now this is the USA 740 and has the same classic look that Custom Auto Sound's always been known for with today's latest features that I already mentioned. 300 watts of peak power, so that's just the juice you need. It has a 4-volt, 4-channel RCA output and subwoofer pre-outs in case you want to really blow everybody away with your subwoofer and all your additional amps. You can run a CD player off of this, that's optional, and Custom Auto Sound sells that as well. And the tuner shows the station, the song, and the artist when you have your LCD display. And you can control that CD player from the unit as well if you get a CD player from Custom Auto Sound. And now again, if you have a classic car, if you have a street rod, something you want to keep looking original and period correct, Custom Auto Sound is the way to go, because we all love having our tunes and we also love cruising. That's why we have our cars. That's why we love our classics. And that is why you'll love Custom Auto Sound. You can find them at customautosoundmfg.com. And you can find more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com when we come back. So keep it right here.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com, is brought to you by Schaefer Oil, putting engines first. RockAuto.com, all the parts your car will ever need. And by PaintedAutoBodyParts.com, the leading U.S. auto body parts online store.
This is Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com. The last time we saw Michael Cantrell from NextGen, he was showing us how their anti-fog spray at NextGen can actually protect the driver by making it easier to see. Now that's where protection starts, but let's talk about where protection starts with your paint. Maybe you have a hot rod like this, or even the everyday driver.
Yeah, so when you got a hot rod like this is clearly a vehicle that somebody has put thousands of dollars into. You know, you got a 33 Plymouth. It looks fantastic, but the reality is they've probably paid a little bit extra to get that professional care done on the paint. They might have a professional coating on it. In some cases, maybe they'd even have it wrapped with some kind of a PPF film, but they've spent extra money to put their investment underneath a protective coating so that they know it's going to stay the way it needs to stay. But when you're talking about spending thousands of dollars on a protective coating, then the question comes into play, should you really have to spend that much, or is there a way for you to be able to do it for a little bit less?
Well, the answer is there is a way to do it for less, and
That's
you guys
correct.
at NextGen have that problem solved. Tell us about your ceramic spray.
So I think it's important to note that our ceramic spray, while literally being one of the most powerful products ever made, is still just a DIY product. And it's created for the auto enthusiast that wants to take care of his vehicle on his own. A professional grade ceramic is probably going to have a much higher silicon dioxide content than our product does. But where our product sets itself apart from the rest of the competition in the DIY market is 13% silicon dioxide, which is the active ingredient that really creates ceramic, versus 1% silicon dioxide. So we're literally 10 times more than anybody else in that DIY space. And because it is a simple application, anybody can put it on. It's as simple as spraying it on the vehicle's finish, wiping it in, and buffing it out. So in a car like this, or like a Honda Accord, you can get around a vehicle like that in 15 or 20 minutes, and you've now got a layer of ceramic on your vehicle that's going to protect it from the elements no matter whether you're in winter, summer, fall, or spring. It's going to keep everything from embedding itself into your car's clear coat so that washing the car is easier, keeping the car clean is easier, you go less time between washes, and ultimately your finish stays the way that it should instead of being degraded by the elements.
How is the ceramic finish different if I'm using your ceramic spray at home or whether I take it to a pro?
So if you take your car to a pro, you're going to probably spend a few $1,000s getting a ceramic coating. If you buy our product, you're going to spend about $35. Now the difference is obviously the ceramic coating from the pro is going to last longer. You're going to get a 1 year, maybe a 2 or a 3 year coating. That coating is still going to require maintenance, so you're still going to end up using a product like mine to maintain the $3,000 finish. So what we tell people is, why not just use the coating that maintains the $3,000 finish to maintain your vehicle's finish, skip the $3,000, start with $34.95, and just apply it once every 3 months. So you're gonna put this on maybe 4 times a year, and you're gonna get more than 4 applications out of one of our 8-ounce bottles.
There are a lot of folks out there claiming they have a ceramic spray. What makes a ceramic a ceramic?
So silicon dioxide is really the core component in a ceramic. The higher the silicon dioxide content is, the stronger your product is. You hear people talking about things like the H scale, 7H, 9H, 10H, or how many years does it last? Well, those are really marketing terms. The reality is, all you have to do is look at the silicon dioxide content. The higher that is, the stronger the product is. And at 13%, we are literally 10 times stronger than anybody else in the DIY market today.
At NextGen, you develop these products with your own business. You guys have detailing centers where you use your products. So how does that professional grade translate to what you sell to folks to use at home?
So obviously every product that you see here today started with us trying to come up with a best-in-breed solution for our own guys to use. And in a sister company, we've got 750 detailers embedded in car dealerships across the country. Every one of these products is what they use on a daily basis. You've probably, or possibly at least, had your car detailed with our products without even realizing it. If you've taken your car in for an oil change or a service, it gets washed by one of our guys, more than likely that's happened and you don't even realize it. So we've got 10, 12, 14 years in some cases of experience with each one of these products, going on tens, hundreds of thousands, in the ceramics case, millions of vehicles. So the research that's gone into this and the real world application is vast. We've spent more time and more money investing into these products and refining them to be exactly what they need to be, so that you as an at-home consumer can apply it and know two things. Number one, your car is going to be safe, and number two, you can't mess it up, because that's key, right? A professional grade coating you can try to put on yourself, but if you mess it up, you're going to end up paying a professional grade price to fix the problem. With this, you can't mess it up.
If you go to their website, you can find the ceramic spray from NextGen. You can also find a whole slew of products to clean your vehicle and to keep it looking that way. Get nextgen.com. We will return with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com right after this. Keep it right here.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com, coming to you from the Campbell's Custom Care Studio.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com. Now, if you buy a UTV like this one, they come off the assembly line pretty cool and pretty rugged, but they're not always as tough as you want them to be. You want them to be Texas tough. And Jared, that's where you guys at Texas Tough Customs come in. How can you take a stock vehicle like this and make it trail ready like that one?
Absolutely. Well, we build custom lifts, custom bumpers, and custom cages to do really anything you want. We tailor all of our products to each customer and their individual specifications.
Well, that's a great looking vehicle. Let's talk about some of the specific things you've done to that car.
The first thing we got up here is one of our Texas Tough Customs bumpers. This one in particular features a provision for a 9,500 pound winch on it. So we run the Warren winch up here. In Texas, we got a lot of thick mud and we need bigger winches to pull us out when we get stuck in that deep stuff. Another thing is these things come stock with small 27-inch tires or whatever, and our biggest goal was we wanted to build something that we can put bigger tires on.
And if you're trying to just put bigger tires on this, you notice it's going to hit the wheel wells right away.
Absolutely.
So you can't go much bigger than it already is.
Yeah, so we build a couple of different lift kits, and all of our lift kits push the front wheels forward and the rear wheels back so that you can put bigger tires on them.
How big can you go?
Well, this one in particular has our Texas Tough Customs 6-inch long travel kit on it, and with something like this, if you're not running portals, you can run up to about a 35-inch tire and be completely fine with it. No rub, no nothing. With this particular kit, you get extra suspension flex in both the front and the rear, and you gain 8 inches of wheelbase, and you also gain 5 inches on either side of width. So it makes the platform for this a lot more stable when you're in the rocks or off-camber situations, or even in deep mud ruts or anything like that.
With all respect to the folks that made this, it doesn't quite look right when it comes off the assembly line. It looks like the tires are too small, and that looks correct.
Absolutely.
You told me the story about this. How did you end up going with this size and discovering how big a tire you could go?
So I started with a machine that looked just like this right here, and I was like, man, we do too much mud riding. We got to have bigger tires. So I wanted to run about a 32-inch tire. So I got into AutoCAD, started designing some stuff, and did some reverse engineering and whatnot, and designed a lift. Well, I went and ordered my tires. They were 32-inch tires, and when I went to go pick them up, I was like, man, these look kind of funny. They look kind of big, and I read on the side they were 34s, and I was like, oh, man. So I go back in and ask them, hey, man, these are the wrong tires. And they were like, well, you paid for 32s, and you got 34s. You know, you came out on the good side, so go ahead and take them home. And I was like, well, all right, whatever. Went home, did some redesigning on the lift, and modified it and made it work for 34. So with our 3-inch kit, you can run up to 34s with it.
A happy accident that changed everything. Now, as we go back on the vehicle, we see the roll cage, and this is a pretty cool looking one. I like the way it sort of encompasses the whole body there. Is that something you sell stock like that?
So we do custom roll cages, custom bumpers, everything is really custom. That's kind of where we get our name, Texas Tough Customs. And what I like to do is I like to have some kind of meeting with the customer, I like to ask them to send me some pictures of other things that they like, whether it be rock crawlers or other different side-by-sides or whatever, and I'll take those pictures and I'll do drawings in AutoCAD on their particular side-by-side, give them a couple different options, and whatever they like and pick, then I start cutting it and fabbing it and build it for them, and they get to take it home and enjoy it.
Well, let's talk about the construction too, because a lot of these are safety items. You need a stronger winch, you want a wider stance. Now, you talked about the lift kit on this one. What lift kits do you offer?
Yeah, well, so we offer 3 other options for arms. We do both a 0-inch lift, which is just front arms only, pushes the front tires forward 3.5 inches. We offer a 3-inch kit, which pushes the front tires forward 3.5 inches, pushes the rear tires back 2.5 inches, allows for up to a 32-inch tire, gives a 3-inch lift. And then we offer our 6-inch long travel kit, which pushes the front wheels forward 4.5 inches, rear wheels back 3.5 inches, gives you 5 inches on either side width, and you gain an overall 8 inches of wheelbase on that one.
You know, all safety related. So talk about the construction of what you
Yeah, so all of our lift kits, both our 0-inch, our 3-inch, and our 6-inch standard, they come in 1 1/4, 120 wall tubing. But for some of the bigger guys that run the big lifts and the big tires, we build some with 44s, 47s on them. And for those guys, they need a little bit stronger tubing on them. So we offer a lower set of arms out of 1.5-inch quarter wall, which is our extreme HD arms. So depending on what the customer is doing and what they're requiring, that's what we'll do. And we'll customize really whatever the customer needs.
How does tubing like that compare to what I can get on a stock vehicle like this?
Absolutely. The stock material is super thin, super small, and it just doesn't even compare. It's just night and day difference. Our lifts are built for abuse, and they're ready to go.
Well, the name says it all. They are Texas Tough. And where can they find you on the web?
Our website is www.texastoughcustoms.com.
All right, you can check them out on the web during the break, because we will be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com right after this. Keep it right here.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com. Industrial workbenches with integrated tool storage. And brought to you by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radios since 1977. CampbellsCustomCare.com, home of the Dawn Detail Spray.
Nothing better than some ice cold water. Now, is it really cold? Is the cold going into my hand, or is the heat going into the bottle? Welcome to this AMSOIL Tech Tip. It's all about the law of thermodynamics. That's how vehicles work. Let's take a look at a couple of coolant systems. Now, you can see this first one here. This is actually like your vehicles. This is a liquid cool system. And the law of thermodynamics says heat moves from hot to an area of less heat. So think about this. The coolant's going into your engine about 200 degrees, then your cylinder's firing at about 1700 degrees. So law of thermodynamics, bam, the heat's gonna jump from the cylinder to the coolant, take a ride all the way up to the radiator. Now we're at about 220, 230. The outside air is at 80, 70, 60. Guess what? The heat jumps off to the outside air. We're removing the heat from the block, boom, throwing it outside. Now you can see it over here. This is a coolant system on a motorcycle here. We're dealing with some Harley products today, and this is pretty cool. On this one, it's firing. You don't have that liquid cooled. You just have air cooled. So you got that huge temperature inside of here, and then you're at the mercy of these fins here for heat transfer to the outside air. I actually have the cylinder right here. You can see it, which is really cool, and my little piston. So what's happening is the piston's going up and down in there, firing, and then we're getting that massive amount of heat, and we're at the mercy of these fins to cool it. Len, that makes for problems, man. That's a lot of heat, and you actually have some proof here. Walk us through this clip.
It does. This is an air-cooled engine that we had on the dyno here. We were simulating what this bike would see in like what we'd call a parade cycle, where you take away all of the cooling air and just let the engine get very hot. As you can see, the oil temperature jumps to 300 degrees very quickly.
Now that's huge. I mean, we're talking about Harleys and that twin cycle and all that thing going on in there. There's a massive amount of heat. You guys got a product that's going to combat that or actually deal with that. Talk about it.
That's correct. When you're building something for an air-cooled engine, it's important that you look at viscosity breakdown as it relates to heat. So you want to use a real robust base oil, high-end synthetic type stuff to avoid that breaking down. And in this chart we're showing here, you can actually see where the OEM product actually lost more viscosity than ours did, 6 times more actually.
Yeah, and AMSOIL actually says that it's 6 times better than the OE oil. So go to the website at AMSOIL.com. Check out their Harley products and so much more.
Attention, aspiring racers, listen up. Our paintedautoparts.com Motorhead of the Week is a name you might be familiar with, Mason Filippi. Let me tell you, this guy is a racer's racer. You've seen him in IMSA as a professional driver for Hyundai and Brian Herta Autosport. If you're a NASCAR Xfinity Series fan, you've seen him there. NASCAR trucks? Yep. And Filippi was a factory driver for Hyundai in the 24 Hours of Nürburgring. He's even driven an LMP car in the Rolex 24 at Daytona. Mason started out riding dirt bikes as a kid and moving up to go-karts, then Spec Miata. That's where he had a lot of success, even winning the Team Mazda Challenge. But just like most young racers, Mason says finding sponsorship was always a challenge when he was trying to get started, so he's decided to make a difference. He created Open Fender, designed to help racers connect with sponsors and vice versa. It's also where racers can learn how to engage with social media and learn tips from other racers who have found success. Mason says he started OpenFender.com with his younger self in mind, and now he's helping other young racers fund their dreams. I certainly wish OpenFender.com was around back when I wanted to go racing. Thank you, Mason Filippi, for making my favorite sport better, and you are certainly deserving of the title Motorhead of the Week. We've had a professional racer, we've had a retired general, we've had car collectors, we've even had truck drivers on as Motorhead of the Week. So go to motorheadgarage.tv and tell us why you or someone you know should be Motorhead of the Week. We'll get you here on the show. We're out of time for this episode, but we're not out of ideas for great products for your vehicle, so tune in next week when we do it again. From our crew here at Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com, we'll see you next week. Drive safely.